Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Eva LeRae, and today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about 5 ways to overcome fear. Okay, so I felt like talking about this topic because, as you can tell from all of my previous videos, I'm here at OCS. I'm going through my training with the military, so I know a lot of people wonder why I made a career change, like how I took the courage to make the career change, and I just want to talk about my personal experiences on how I overcome the fear of coming and doing this training and just like getting overwhelming feelings about it all, but overcoming it. So yeah, stay tuned for the video. Okay, step number 1 to overcoming your fear is awareness. So awareness means that you have to know what's actually going on, like what fear you're facing. You have to tell yourself, like, I'm afraid of XYZ. Me in this case, like through my training, I go through climbing certain obstacles. I do a lot of running. I do a lot of ruck marching, and some of those things can be overwhelming. Some of those things can be very scary. So I have to tell myself, like, wow, I am really afraid of heights. Like, I'm really afraid of walking long distance. Like, I have to identify my fear and tell myself, like, this is what I'm afraid of. When you do that, you're basically telling yourself that this is something that you need to overcome, like something that you need to address, rather than something that you're going to continue to hide and like shelter yourself from, or like come to the reality of it. So step number 1 of being aware of your fear is like the baby step of overcoming your fear. Okay, step number 2 is asking yourself, how does this affect me? So basically, a fear starts where something in your mind tells you that you can't do something, that you can't overcome it, that you can't surpass it. When you tell yourself, how can this affect me? You're physically speaking it into the existence of, if this is just mental, I can get past this. And if it's just physical, I can also get past this. So if it's mental, you're going to basically coach yourself through it. Tell yourself, okay, mentally, I'm going to get through this. Mentally, I'm going to take the next step to tell myself, like, this can be accomplished. So mentally, it's definitely harder than physically, I would say, for myself, because you know, sometimes you get in your brain and you're starting to tell yourself, like, this is so hard, I really can't do this. But then you start to see other people around you doing it. So you're like, okay, maybe I can do this. And then the other aspect, physically, if you can't do it, then you need to take the precautions to prepare yourself. Physically preparing yourself, meaning training, meaning repetition. You can, like, if you can practice something, then try to do that initially, because then when it's time to get to, like, actually face the fear in, like, a testing period or whatnot, then, you know, you already know what to expect. If it's not like as large as something like jumping out of a plane or something like that, of course you can't practice that. But something as small as like an obstacle course, maybe you might build like a little a run through. You might do a little run through of an obstacle course so that you can get yourself physically prepared for it, like the endurance part. So yeah, think, how does it affect you? If you can get in your mind and tell yourself, like, I can do this, you will do it, like, just point blank, period. Okay, so the next point would be to get help. asking for help, getting help doesn't mean that you have to seek counseling or like a psychiatrist, but by all means, mental health is definitely one of the most important things that you should take care of, if not your body. So yeah, but the first steps of getting help could be like asking a friend, asking a peer, just someone that you feel comfortable with to help you overcome that fear. And then, you can take a step further, and if you have a coach or you have a mentor, they can also help you, not just mentally but physically. Like, they can actually challenge you through certain things so that you can progress. So for me, I like to lean on my peers because a lot of times we don't have mentors in this training, but I like to lean on my peers because they're like a self-motivating, like motivation that you don't really ask, but they're just there because, as they're overcoming a fear, or maybe they're not even fearful of it, you can see that they took the courage to do something about it. So yeah, those are really, depend and lean on someone else, because you're never alone when it comes to your fears. Like, mentally, you might think that you are, but there's also several different resources that you can use around you. If not, seek professional help. And the fourth to overcoming fear is visualizing your success. Like, this, I really hone in on because, like, I like to think of the end goal. I like to think of when I get finished, like how I'm gonna feel, like what it's gonna feel like to overcome that fear, whether I'm doing that obstacle course or I'm running that race or I'm completing a graduation requirement. Like, how I'm gonna feel at the end is like key. It's key because you know that you've actually accomplished something that you mentally or even physically didn't think that you would get past. And it's like so rewarding to like visualize the end goal and just see like where you're gonna be. And not only just that, like how you visualize yourself like later on, like, okay, a year from now, this is gonna be minimal. Like, I'm not even gonna be worried about this. Like, it's gonna be a thing of the past, or, like a year from now, I'm not gonna even have to go through this. So this little aspect in life, which I feel is so big and just causes so much anxiety, like, it's going to be nothing later on. Like, that's another key motivator that I like to use, because it's like, today it may seem big, but tomorrow it's going to be small. Like, it's not even going to be a thing. It's like no sweat off your back. So I like to use that on myself, like daily, not even kidding you, but like daily, I like to think of like little small things like, man, I'm going to be here in a month, here in a year, this and that, and the success is just going to come pouring in. And I just feel overwhelmingly blessed. So that's a really, really key, good way to think about it. And the last way to overcome fear is to always have a positive attitude. I know this ties in all of the ways to overcoming fear, but it starts with the mind. Like I said earlier, like if you always have a positive mindset towards everything in life, this doesn't just mean your fear, but from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, if you have a positive mindset, a positive attitude towards everything, then things will always go in your favor. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. Few years ago, I started like listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, listening to positive affirmations in the morning. And, time to time during the day, when something would bother me or something wouldn't go my way, I would just think of that positive affirmation and a positive message that I got earlier in the day and just like re-implement it, whether think it or speak it out loud. And it just progressively makes your day go by easier. And I just think that it's really important to have a positive attitude because it can push you forward in life so farther than you actually imagine. And I mean, like, we're talking about fears, but let's just talk about life in general. Like life is not easy. Life is hard. And life can be taken within a blink of an eye. I know I'm recording this video, and just recently Kobe Bryant and his daughter and a few others have passed away due to a plane crash. And you know, as we're talking about the wake of the passing of all these precious lives, like you have to, you can't take life for granted. You have to be positive when it comes to a lot of things in life, and work as hard as you can, and just love on the people that's around you. And it's just really important to do those things. You can't hold a grudge. You can't go to bed upset. Like, it's just really, really important. And as we have positive attitudes and we spread that energy, then it spreads to other people. And I just like to always be happy, like to always encourage others, and I feel like it's very infectious. And as I'm going through this process, and I'm going to be updating you guys, I'm going to go through a lot of things that I fear, and I'm going to overcome them, because that's just how I'm built. Like, I'm going to implement all of these 5 steps, and I'm going to hammer in and complete every requirement, and just get through everything. So I really hope that this video helps anyone out there, whether it be military related or whether it be in life. Implement these 5 steps. Always have a positive attitude. Be infectious with your happiness. It definitely spreads. Smile goes a long way. Like I always say, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for watching this Military Monday. I will catch y'all next Monday. Bye.